Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline. And let's dive into our headlines for tonight. Ecuador President orders neutralization of criminal gang after TV shooting. JPJ to install SMED equipment for efficient enforcement. And WWF recognizes Sarawak for passing an environmental-friendly bill late last year. Our top story, Ecuador's president gave orders on Tuesday to neutralize criminal gangs after gunmen opened fire in a TV studio as bandits threatened random executions on a second day of terror in the country. At least 10 people have been killed in a series of attacks blamed on gangs as the country exploded in what President Daniel Noboa called an internal armed conflict.
He ordered military operations to neutralize criminal gangs after gangsters declared war following the prison escape Sunday of one of Ecuador's most powerful narco bosses. 8 people were killed and 3 were wounded in attacks in the port city of Guayaquil, and 2 officers were viciously murdered by armed criminals in the nearby town of Nobel, police said Tuesday evening. Once a peaceful haven, sandwiched between Colombia and Peru, Ecuador has seen violence explode in recent years as rival gangs with links to Mexican and Colombian cartels vie for control. After the escape of Jose Adolfo Macias, leader of Ecuador's biggest gang Los Choneros, Noboa on Monday declared a countrywide state of emergency and nightly curfew. Gangs retaliated, taking police officers hostage, setting off explosions in several cities, and on Tuesday, storming a studio of state-owned TV station in Guayaquil with guns and explosives. The intruders forced terrified crew onto the ground, and a person could be heard screaming as the studio lights went out, but the broadcast continued. Police entered the studio after about 30 minutes of chaos.
The Worldwide Fund for Nature in Malaysia, WWF Malaysia, has commended Sarawak for the passing of the Environment Reduction of Greenhouse Gas Emission Bill 2023 in November last year. WWF Malaysia said the bill was the first on carbon emission and reduction in Malaysia with a complete strategy and roadmap.
The statement reflects on key developments in Sarawak last year and highlights areas for improvement in the future. WWF Malaysia notes that Sarawak has maintained a significant portion of its forest cover, constituting 62% or 7.65 million hectares, the largest among all states in Malaysia. If this figure is sustained, Sarawak alone contributes 46.5% to the nation's goal of maintaining at least 50% of land under tree or forest cover. While acknowledging the inevitability of development, WWF Malaysia urges the Sarawak government to prioritize forests and ensure that developments are carried out sustainably with a mindful and planned integrated approach.
Sarawak Social Welfare Department will provide assistance to the victims of the recent shophouse fire in Kota Sentosa, which tragically took the life of a 12-year-old boy with special needs. Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Sarawak, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah, affirmed her ministry's commitment to offering immediate relief and psychological support to those affected during this trying period.
Fatimah mentioned that the Social Welfare Department is prepared to offer the bereaved family crisis intervention and psychological support to help them cope with the sorrow stemming from the tragic incident. Additionally, the fire victims will receive relief plans for the affected families, which include a sleeping equipment pack, pocket money allowances, school clothing and school equipment assistance, as well as building materials assistance worth 5,000 ringgit per house. Meanwhile, Kota Sentosa Assemblyman Wilfred Yap urged the Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Bomba to expedite the completion of the forensic report to facilitate affected shop owners return to their premises and filing insurance claims. Yap also sought assistance from the Sarawak Housing Development Corporation (HDC) for temporary accommodations for the fire victims. On Tuesday, an afternoon fire razed 6 shophouses and resulted in the tragic death of 12-year-old Jindra Hiu Zi Tau on the second floor of the building.
Now, a 9-month pregnant woman and her husband were arrested with 10.2 kilograms of cannabis in the vehicle they were traveling in. They were believed to be smuggling the illicit into the country at the Bukit Kayu Hitam Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security (ECUADOR'S) complex on Sunday.
Kubang Pasu District Police Chief Superintendent Rodzi Abu Hassan said the couple aged 34 and 35 from Perlis were detained at about 11:50 p.m. by a police on routine patrol. An inspection was conducted on a pickup truck, Hilux, that was being driven in a suspicious manner before 10 packages were found weighing 10.27696 kilogram wrapped in transparent plastic and containing drugs suspected to be cannabis hidden under the rear passenger seats. The drugs were believed to have been smuggled in from a neighboring country for distribution to the northern states, and the quantity is able to supply a total of 3,200 addicts. Rosie added that based on the investigation, the suspects were found as frequent travelers to Thailand through the Bukit Kayu Hitam border, allegedly carrying out these activities at night.
Sedemikian. Tetapi bila dia masuk ke dalam Malaysia ni, saya tengok hasil daripada pemeriksaan kita dapati 10 ketulah 4 ni, kita dapat ekoran daripada pergerakan yang mencurigakan di dalam kawasan SUKS. Ini untuk kita memang pertama kali yang kita dapat bagi pihak IPD Gua Masuk. Dia orang ni penganggut. Dua-dua suami isteri, pasangan suami isteri ni adalah penganggut. Tangkapan ni saya tengok perempuan tu memang syarat mengandung lah. Syarat mengandung.
Meanwhile, the couple have been remanded till January 14th for investigation under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952.
More state news. The 120-meter Tondong Sebuku concrete bridge in Bau is now open to public. Tasik Biru Assemblyman Datuk Harry Jinep said the bridge aims to enhance accessibility for road users and local residents, particularly in preparation for the upcoming Chinese New Year celebration.
Henry mentioned that the newly opened bridge will not only ease the commute for residents in Tondong, Sebuku and Singai, but also enhance travel between Kuching and Bau.
Ini tentu sekali memudahkan perjalanan mana-mana pihak dari Kuching ke Bau ataupun Bau ke tempat lain. Dari Tondong ke Balai Polis Bau mengambil masa 5 minit sahaja. 5 minit kalau dibandingkan dengan kita menggunakan pengkonya masuk 10 logo dan ke Bau itu mengambil masa 15 ke 20 minit terpulang pada trafik.
The construction of the 10.59 million ringgit bridge commenced in 2019 but faced delays in completion due to the pandemic and geological issues.
Now, Cebu's Bukit Aup Jubilee Park holds significance as a sacred ground for the Iban community, housing the benevolent spirit Nagabari, with the mirroring ritual commonly conducted there. However, from January 15th to 18th, the public is advised not to perform the ritual at the park, as it has been selected to host various events for the 3rd Sukan Sarawak or Suksar.
Cebu Municipal Council Chairman Clarence Ting Ing Hor announced that Bukit Aup Jubilee Park will host the cross-country Olympic XCO and downhill mountain bike cycling events for both men and women categories during the 3rd Sukan Sarawak Suksar. He apologized for any inconvenience caused by restrictions during the event from January 15th to 18th. The park, spanning 22 acres and costing 7 million ringgit, received recognition in the 1998 National Landscaping Competition for Public Parks. Suksar will feature 13 sports events with participation from 4 zones: North, Central, West and Southern.
Approximately 39 childcare centers in Kuching are in the midst of getting their establishment registered with the state government through the Social Welfare Department. Deputy Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Development in Sarawak, Dato' Rosie Yunus, advised parents to enroll their children in registered childcare centers and kindergartens in the state.
Some childcare centers in Kuching have not applied for registration due to operators' ignorance of adhering to government regulations. The establishment of childcare centers in the state requires approval from various agencies, including the Land and Survey Department, local authorities, the Fire and Rescue Department, and the Ministry of Health before being registered with State Social Welfare Department.
Maybe they just don't want to go through the hassle of filling up the forms. And sometimes ada yang attitude sendirilah. Ya, dia tak kira tentang keselamatan dan sebagainya. So they just take easy. Ya, ini yang kita tak mau dengar ya, because you are handling anak, and anak ini adalah future kita. Ya, so kita nak curriculum dia proper, environment dia proper, but some just don't want to go through. Ya, maybe that can be one of the reasons.
Meanwhile, Rosie further stressed that warning letters will be issued to errant operators. Previously, the Federal Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development stated that each care centre must be registered under the Care Centres Act 1993 starting 2022 onwards. They must also comply with all laws from the authorities relating to building structure, fire and safety requirements, health and sanitation. This is to ensure that all childcare centres provide excellent services and care to the residents and comply with the standards set by law.
The establishment of the Perdana Petroleum Berhad or Perdana Petroleum branch in Miri is a testament to the city's growing importance as a hub for the oil and gas sector. Miri City Council MCC Mayor Adam Yee highlighted that Petronas's commitment to corporate responsibility aligns with Miri's values, which put emphasis on the importance of giving back to the community.
Petroleum legacy is well established, as elaborated by the managing director and the chairman. And his decision to set up a branch office here in Miri is a testament to the city's growing importance as the hub for the oil and gas sector. Miri, nestled in the heart of Sarawak, has been a key player in Malaysia's petroleum industry. And with the addition of Perdana Petroleum Branch Office, we are reinforcing our commitment to sustainable development and progress.
He said this during the launching of the Perdana Petroleum Branch Office in Miri on Wednesday. He expressed his belief that the addition of Perdana Petroleum's branch in Miri signifies the city's commitment to sustainable development and progress, extending a welcome to other companies, encouraging them to consider Miri for their maritime operations.
The marine services sector is not just about vessel navigating in our waters. It is about the spillover to the support services onshore, including ship repair and maintenance. Now, this expansion is not merely the opening of an office. It is the affirmation of a long-standing partnership between Perdana Petroleum and City of Miri.
Meanwhile, the managing director of Perdana Petroleum Berhad, Jamaluddin Obeng, pointed out that the expansion to Miri is an anticipated move with improvement plans for the future. He emphasized that it aligns with the vision of the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Jori Tunopeng, who is committed to achieving the set economic goals and contributing to the overall prosperity and sustainability of Sarawak. Jamaluddin highlighted that 45% of Perdana Petroleum Berhad's workforce comprise Sarawakians.
JPJ to implement SMED equipments to increase enforcement efficiency, and the government will be implementing a carefully thought-out progressive wage policy. All that and more right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Smart Management Enforcement Device, or SMED equipment, is set to be installed nationwide this year with a phased implementation by the Road Transport Department JPJ. It aims to enhance the enforcement system, particularly concerning motor vehicle licenses LKM and the Malaysian driving licenses LMM. Its Deputy Director General for Planning and Operations, Eddie Fadli Ramli, mentioned that the system and the equipment will undergo periodic updates based on technological advancement.
At the same time, Eddie said the use of LMM renewal slips has been implemented in 7 states and only involves the competent driving license CDL renewal transactions. The 7 states are Perak, Johor, Penang, Kuala Lumpur, Terengganu, Kelantan, and Selangor. So far, the implementation has been well accepted by the public. Additionally, based on the survey and strategic analysis over the past year, JPJ discovered that more drivers prefer digital enforcement.
Now, the government will not arbitrarily allow the implementation of the progressive wage policy, but will instead take into account the ability of employers and the current state of the country's economy. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said that was because the implementation of the policy was voluntary and involved incentives from the federal government.
Kita tak boleh nak mewajibkan sewenang-wenangnya macam perintah gaji minimum, kerana kita kena ambil kira juga kemampuan syarikat, majikan dan ekonomi kita. Sebab majikan yang terbesar dalam negara kita ni sebenarnya perusahaan mikro, kecil dan sederhana. 97% daripada majikan kita, dari 97% daripada entiti perniagaan di negara kita ini ialah PMKS. Jadi PMKS ni kalau kita nak wajibkan saja, ada yang akan gulung tikar, daripada kita nak naikkan gaji, ada yang hilang pekerjaan. So we have to balance it.
He said this after officiating the grant presentation ceremony under the People's Income Initiative IPR program and a town hall session with the student leadership of University Technology Mara UiTM Selangor branch at UiTM Puncak Alam recently. According to Rafizi, his ministry and the Ministry of Human Resources only focus on private sector salaries, while the study of Public Service Remuneration System SSPA is managed by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim.
Soal gaji kaki tangan awam itu dia berada dalam keputusan kerajaan. Cuma kerajaan kena pastikan bahawa sumber kewangan itu cukup, sustainable, dan perkara itu memang sedang diuruskan oleh Yang Amat Perdana Menteri lah. Jadi saya dan kementerian saya dengan Kementerian Sumber Manusia, kita tumpukan kepada sektor swasta, kerana yang itu agak berbeza cabarannya. Dia bukan semata-mata soal wang, tapi dia juga macam mana kita nak yakinkan majikan-majikan ini untuk sama-sama menaikkan gaji secara berperingkat.
Rafizi, through his ministry, has allocated a grant of 6,961,500 ringgit to the UiTM Student Affairs Division. The funds will support 2 projects: the implementation of mapping and monitoring for the People's Income Initiative IPR programs and the organization of a financial literacy course for IPR participants by UiTM Selangor branch. The mapping and monitoring project, involving nearly 1,400 households in 4 states, aims to conduct a poverty census and devise strategies to increase participants' income. Simultaneously, the financial literacy courses aim to equip IPR participants with knowledge and skills for effective financial management, ensuring the sustainability of their economic activities.
Now, the country's 5G coverage has achieved 80.2% in populated areas as of December 31st, surpassing the target of 80%. Communications Minister cum Unity Government's spokesman Fahmi Fazil said following the achieved target, the government would announce the proposed shift to a dual 5G network model soon.
Pada hari Jumaat ini, pasukan petugas khas di Joint Task Force on 5G yang dipengerusikan bersama oleh Datuk Ketua Setiausaha Perbendaraan dan Datuk Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Komunikasi akan mengadakan mesyuarat bersama dengan pihak DNB, MCMC dan kesemua MNO yang telah tanda tangan Share Subscription Agreement untuk menentukan hala tuju serta langkah-langkah berikutnya.
On May 31st, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim was reported as saying that the government welcomed the implementation of the 5G network from single to dual network coverage based on several justifications, including breaking a monopoly held by the single state-run network and allow for more effective participation and competition.
Now, during its weekly meeting, the cabinet strongly condemned the attack on Berwas MP Datuk Ngeh Kuham's house in Air Tawar, Perak that occurred early on Wednesday morning. Communications Minister Fahmi Fazil announced that the cabinet reminded all Malaysians to act in accordance with the law, emphasizing the importance of managing differences of opinion within legal frameworks.
Jemaah Menteri turut memberi amaran keras bahawa sebarang tindakan yang melanggar undang-undang akan diambil tindakan tegas oleh pihak berkuasa.
Meanwhile, Perak Police Chief Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said the police are tracking the suspects of hurling a Molotov cocktail into the house of Ngeh, which damaged 3 vehicles. Ngeh recently caused controversy by suggesting non-Muslims be included in a special committee on Sharia law, which he later withdrew.
The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is set to introduce a tailored Ramadan package for international Muslim tourists, emphasizing the distinctiveness of experiencing the sacred month in Malaysia. Its Deputy Minister, Khairul Firdaus Akbar Khan, highlighted that the launch of such package is scheduled for January 15th of this year.
He said this when welcoming 35 imams from 14 provinces in China at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA2, on Wednesday. The imams will be joining the 7-day Imam Familiarization Trip, Explore Muslim-Friendly Malaysia, a program arranged by the Islamic Tourism Centre ITC and the Malaysia Inbound Chinese Association, MICA. Throughout the visit, the imams will tour 7 iconic mosques and explore various renowned tourist destinations nationwide, including a durian orchard in Bentong Pahang. The purpose of the visit is to allure 30 million Muslim residents from China to explore Malaysia, thus marking a positive sign towards fulfilling MOTEC's mission to position Malaysia as a leading destination for global Muslim travelers.
Bhutanese voters have elected Shering Tabgay to become Prime Minister for a second time after his party won nearly 2/3 of seats, the Election Commission said in results released on Wednesday. The election was dominated by serious economic challenges that have called into question the Himalayan kingdom's long-standing policy of prioritizing gross national happiness over growth.
Bhutan lies sandwiched between the globe's 2 most populous countries, China and India, who watched the vote with keen interest as they eye strategic contested border zones. Top Gay, head of the Liberal People's Democratic Party (PDP), who served as Prime Minister of the Himalayan Kingdom from 2013 to 2018, won 30 of 47 seats in Tuesday's election, official figures showed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India, Bhutan's key trading partner, offered his heartiest congratulations for winning the polls, according to a post on X. Top Gay, who has promised to boost ties with India, responded by thanking Modi. Bhutan is a landlocked mountain nation of about 800,000 people, similar in area to Switzerland. The 58-year-old, a former civil servant, is a passionate conservation advocate who holds a degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Pittsburgh and a master's in public administration from Harvard. Top Gay was also leader of the opposition in Bhutan's first parliament when it was first established in 2008, soon after the start of the reign of the present king.
And many Cubans are grappling with the challenge of coping with a 500% surge in fuel prices, on top of coping with inflation and product scarcity. The financially strained government of the Communist island declared a five-fold increase on Monday, effective from February 1st, as part of a series of measures aimed at reducing its budget deficit.
The price of a liter of regular gasoline will rise from 25 pesos, which is about 2 ringgit and 7 cents, to 132 pesos, roughly around 10 ringgit and 90 cents. Meanwhile, the price of premium gasoline will jump from 30 pesos to 2 ringgit and 48 cents to 156 pesos, 12 ringgit and 89 cents. Cuban Transport Minister Eduardo said the state-owned enterprises and private carriers can purchase fuel at wholesale prices, which are set to rise by 50%. He further added that while most public transport fares will remain unchanged, significant hikes in domestic airline tickets and inter-province bus fares have been announced. Other than that, the government has additionally verified a 25% increase in electricity prices for significant residential consumers, along with a hike in the cost of natural gas. A heightened concern among many Cubans is the prospect of worsening inflation.
And those were the headlines on TVS Nightline. For more news, please be sure to visit and follow our social media at tvsarawak.my. I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching and good night.